The House will come to order. The invocation today will be given by the Honorable Greg Markinen, State Representative from the 110th District. Will members, staff, and guests in the gallery please rise?
Let us pray. Almighty God, bless the public servants in the government of this state of Michigan, that they may do their work in a spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice. As they serve the people of the state, drive us all from cynicism and selfishness. Help them use their authority to serve faithfully and to promote the common life, and give us grace to live in unity and peace. We pray this through you, your Son, Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you. The clerk will open the board for the purpose of taking attendance. The board is now open. Members may check in at their desk. Speaker recognizes Representative, for the purpose of an introduction, Representative Kolazar.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today in the West Gallery, I have 25 students and 15 adults from Hoover Elementary in Livonia. Go Rockets.
Will the special guest of Representative Kolazar please rise and welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. Channel 9 and 10, WWTV out of Cadillac has permission to record today's session. Channel 19, WZMQ out of Marquette has permission to record today's session. For the purposes of an intern farewell, the Speaker recognizes Representative Martis.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today not just to say goodbye, but see you later to a fantastic intern who has been in my office this semester, Danielle. Danielle has been working very hard, answering phone calls, writing back to constituents, and it's really been an honor to get to know her. She's a proud Spartan, go Green. She is a member of AKA and has taken a leadership in that sorority and is really fighting both during her time at MSU and at the Capitol for things like criminal justice reform, rights for the poor, and all around making sure that everyone has a seat at the table. So while I will be sad to see Danielle go, it has been an honor to have her in our office, and we wish her the best of luck. And she is in the West Gallery.
Colleagues, please join me in thanking Danielle for the work she has done for the Michigan House of Representatives. For the purposes of an intern farewell, the Speaker recognizes Representative Burns.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today to acknowledge Ryan McClendon, who has served as a legislative intern in my office since February. Ryan is a student at Michigan State University, and he brought with him a really great set of skills, including writing and communication, and his kindness and professionalism were noted by the people who were fortunate enough to interact with him. Ryan provided great support, plenty of laughs in our office, and helped us through a really busy season in the office. I have no doubt that he will excel in any opportunity that comes his way, and I just want to offer my appreciation for his service to the people of Dearborn and Dearborn Heights and our state at large. I want to thank Ryan for his wonderful work and offer my very best wishes for the future. And Madam Speaker, Ryan is here in the East Gallery today.
Colleagues, please join me in thanking Ryan for his service to the Michigan House of Representatives. For the purposes of an introduction, the Speaker recognizes Representative Paquette.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We have two more of the beautiful people from Southwest Michigan in attendance with us today, and they brought the sparkly hardware. We have Miss Dewajak, Amelia, and the first runner-up, Meg, from the Miss Dewajak Scholarship Pageant. They are in the West Gallery with us today.
Will the special guest of Representative Paquette please rise and welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. For the purposes of introduction, the Speaker recognizes Representative McFall.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today I have a sizable group of seniors in town for Older Michiganians Day from the city of Madison Heights in my district in the South Gallery.
Will the special guest of Representative McFall please rise and welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. For the purposes of introduction, the Speaker recognizes Representative Regas.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is my privilege today to have a guest with me here in the chamber, Jessica Cohn. She serves on the Caledonia Fighting Scots School Board.
Will the special guest of Representative Regas please rise? Welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. For the purposes of introduction, the Speaker recognizes Representative Roth.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have a member of the Kingsley School Board here with us today as part of the group, and he's sitting in the South Gallery, Max Anderson.
Will the special guest of Representative Roth please rise? Welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. For the purposes of an introduction, the Speaker recognizes Representative Maddock.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm proud to announce we have some great visitors up in the gallery, the Michigan Bitcoin Trade Council.
Will the guest of Representative Maddock please rise? Welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. For the purposes of an introduction, the Speaker recognizes Representative Kuntz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Alexander and I would like to welcome our 30 guests from every corner of the state of Michigan. This is the Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association Future Leaders Group in the West Gallery.
Will the guests of Representative Kuntz and Alexander please rise? Welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. For the purposes of an introduction, the Speaker recognizes Representative Whitwer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today I have a really special guest with me, Catherine Bertolini. She is the superintendent of Maple Valley Schools, and she is sitting in the East Gallery.
Will the special guest of Representative Whitwer please rise? Welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. For the purposes of an introduction, the speaker recognizes Representative Whitwer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have a special guest here today, Samantha Stanky. She is in the East Gallery. She is a junior, going to be a junior at MSU in crop and soil management, and she is job shadowing me from Charlotte, Michigan.
Will the special guest of Representative Whitwer please rise? Welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. For the purposes of an introduction, the speaker recognizes Representative Mueller.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today I have two guests in the South Gallery, Shannon Allenboss and Tabitha Ramberg.
Will the special guest of Representative Mueller please rise? Welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. For the purposes of an introduction, the speaker recognizes Representative Roth.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate it very much. Today is a bittersweet day, I guess. Like all of us that we deal with interns that come in and out of our office, my intern is completing her time with me, and we never like to see him go, but we know that she's going to do wonderful, wonderful work ahead of her, and so we're very proud of what she did for us, and we want to thank her today. So Olivia Lowry, our intern, is in the East Gallery because she couldn't get into the West Gallery because it's too full. We want to say goodbye to her today.
Colleagues, please join me in thanking Olivia for her service to the Michigan House of Representatives. For the purpose of an introduction, the speaker recognizes Representative Hoadley.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today we have with us in the West Gallery members from the Sterling Area Health Center along with some students here to advocate for in-school health centers.
Will the special guest of Representative Hoadley please rise? Welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. For the purposes of introduction, the speaker recognizes Representative Arbet.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today I have with me on the floor a special guest, Dr. Cynthia Miller-Idris, professor at American University, who is also the founding director of PERIL, the Polarization, Extremism, Research and Innovation Lab. And she does amazing work in the state of Michigan, as well as nationally and internationally, on working to build resilience against radicalization and against extremism, harmful images that affect our youth online, and just a really amazing work to make sure that our society is more resilient, more cohesive, and that we can work together across partisan lines to do great work. And so I'm very grateful to have Dr. Miller-Idris with me today, and very grateful for the work that she does in this country.
Colleagues, please join me in welcoming Dr. Miller to the House of Representatives. For the purposes of introduction, the speaker recognizes Representative Bonak.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today, I recognize members of the United Steelworkers, Local 4950 and 4974, proud miners on the Marquette Iron Range in the South and West Galleries.
Will the guests of Representative Bonak please rise? Welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. For the purposes of introduction, the speaker recognizes Representative Nyer.
I have some guests in the West Gallery there from the Shepherd High School and Grade School Clinic. They take the time to come down today and ask to support their clinic, so if they would please stand.
Will the special guest of Representative Nyer please rise? Welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. Speaker recognizes Minority Floor Leader Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to excuse Representative Herzberg.
Without objection, so ordered. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumus.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to excuse Representative Phil Green.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will close the board, tally display, and announce today's attendance.
Madam Speaker, a quorum of the House is present. There are no members absent with prior excuse.
Will members, staff, and guests in the gallery please rise and join me now in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For the purposes of introduction, the speaker recognizes Representative Paquette.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm very blessed to be graced with the presence of two bona fide heroes with me, two brilliant women, Jamie Reed, whistleblower, national whistleblower, and detransitioner Prisha Mosley, two great advisors to me in the battle against gender-affirming cruelty. They're on the House floor with me today.
Will the special guest of Representative Paquette please rise? Welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. For the purposes of an introduction, the speaker recognizes Representative Kolazar.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Much appreciated. In the East Gallery, I have a constituent and Northville Public Schools School Board member, Jenna Mabry.
Will the special guest of Representative Kolazar please rise? Welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Postumus.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House proceed to the order of third reading of bills and take up calendar item number 8, House Bill 4007.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar item number 8, House Bill 4007, introduced by Representative Bonak. A bill to amend the Clean and Renewable Energy and Energy Waste Reduction Act. People of the State of Michigan enact.
The bill will be considered read for a third time by its title. Are there amendments? There are not. Speaker recognizes Representative Andrews.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Permission to speak to the package?
So ordered.
I rise today to speak in support of the bills on the floor supporting the rice generators in the UP. I believe that when we passed our original climate package, we were intending to demonstrate to the state that we were going to draw in industry, and protect jobs. And we also made the statement that if we ever found that there was an issue where we had missed the mark, that we would be able to go back and fix it. I believe this is one of those areas where we missed the mark and a fix needs to be made. There are thousands of jobs that stand to be lost if these generators are shut down at the mines in the UP. And as somebody who's always stood with workers and protecting their jobs, I believe that it's in the best interest of us to make this exception, to create this carve out for these generators, protect the mine, protect the jobs in the UP. And you know, by way of protecting this, we're actually protecting what was a climate positive investment in the first place. It was a 71% reduction in carbon output by building these generators and shutting down 2 coal plants. You know, I've always said the UP is a unique place in Michigan, geographically isolated. We don't run transmission to the UP. They're, you know, in a lot of ways dependent more on Wisconsin than they are the Lower Peninsula. So I urge support on these bills from my colleagues because I believe this is important to protect jobs and protect the economy of the Upper Peninsula. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Speaker recognizes Representative Pohutsky.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Permission to speak to both bills?
So ordered.
Thank you. I encourage a no vote on these bills so that we may stand by the clean energy progress we've already made that will grow in the years and months ahead. The Clean Energy and Jobs Act was passed with union support because of its nation-leading provisions, and the law will continue to be an engine of prosperity and abundance. Michigan is a national leader on new clean energy jobs and investments. We've secured 74 new projects since August 2022, and more than second ranked behind Texas at 61. In doing so, Michigan has secured 26,000 jobs and $28 billion in investment, and we are still just getting started. These bills, even as amended, would undermine the progress for the region that needs it most, Michigan's Upper Peninsula, a region where ratepayers pay the most for energy in a state that already suffers some of the worst rates and reliability in the entire Midwest. The bills before us today do nothing to bring down the costs of UP ratepayers. In fact, they take away some of the best tools we have to bring more supply and energy options to the Upper Peninsula and to put downward pressure on prices. energy efficiency, renewable energy, and rapidly evolving technology. Most importantly, the bills are not helpful, nor are they needed to keep the UP methane gas units operational, nor are they needed to ensure that Tilden Mine has reliable, cost-effective power. Arguments to the contrary are simply not wholly informed and are perhaps even the result of a utility company seeking to increase profits while blaming the rates on energy improvements. Under current statute, the Michigan Public Service Commission already has the authority to grant both exemptions and extensions to utilities that cannot meet renewable energy targets for many reasons. More importantly, the MPSC is the forum best suited to produce a UP energy supply that protects energy ratepayers, balances the needs of a large publicly traded mine, and a Wisconsin investor-owned utility, UMERC. The 2023 energy law is working as designed. We should let it run its course to protect UP ratepayers and to deliver the best policy solutions and outcomes. Passing these bills now, before that regulatory process concludes, is premature and risks creating unintended consequences. I urge a no vote. Thank you.
Speaker recognizes Representative Bonack.
Madam Speaker, I rise in support of House Bill 4007. This bill would amend the Clean and Renewable Energy Act to allow the 13 Upper Peninsula reciprocating internal combustion engines, or RICE units, fueled by natural gas, to continue running through the end of their projected life cycle in 2050. The RICE units in Marquette and Baraga counties were built through a collaboration between CCI, Cleveland Cliffs Incorporated, operators of the Tilden Mine in Marquette County, the state of Michigan, and Wisconsin Electric Corporation. They went into operation in 2019, powering the grid for a large portion of the Upper Peninsula with reliable, dispatchable clean energy. With the decommissioning of the 2 coal-fired plants in Marquette, these natural gas generators reduce carbon dioxide emissions by over 70%. However, the Clean and Renewable Energy Act, passed during the 102nd legislature, would mandate that these RICE generators cease operation a full 10 years before their projected life cycle expiration. In addition, UP ratepayers will be on the hook to pay off these natural gas generators, whether they are operating or not. In addition, electric customers will be assessed a surcharge on their power bills to build a brand new energy infrastructure composed of mainly wind and solar. According to utility figures, this surcharge would double residential power rates over the coming years. In addition, CCI would be assessed a surcharge of more than $1 million a month starting in 2027, and that surcharge would just keep increasing year over year. If we are to keep our mines open to produce the metals our country needs, we must keep the RICE units going through their expiration date in 2050. Without reliable, affordable energy produced by the RICE units, the Upper Peninsula will be forced to deindustrialize, which will result in drastic depopulation. I ask that you vote yes on House Bill 4007. Your yes vote will maintain our 175-year-old mining industry in the Upper Peninsula while providing well-paying careers for Upper Michigan residents and their families. Thank you.
I ask that our guests in the gallery refrain from applause or demonstrations during the debate, please. Thank you. Speaker recognizes Representative Preston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Permission to speak to the ill package.
So ordered.
I stand before you today to ask for your support for House Bills 4007, 4283. These bills are vital to protecting the Upper Peninsula's energy consumers, ensuring affordable power, and safeguarding the strong union jobs both in the UP and across the state. In 2019, the UP closed its last 2 coal power plants, leaving a gap in our energy supply with no plan to fill it. MISO, our RTO, for this region sounded the alarm. Their conclusion was that this would strain our grid. Without additional generation, we would also be subject to curtailment and the possibility of rolling blackouts. UP ratepayers would get to pay for those consequences out of their pocketbooks as well, with costly system support resource payments. To prevent this, Michigan acted building power plants fueled by reciprocating internal combustion engines known as RICE units to keep our energy reliable and affordable. Last term, when previous legislature rewrote the Clean Energy Standard, it tasked the Michigan Public Service Commission with studying the unique energy needs of the UP. That report was required because there was an understanding that the UP is different. We have no meaningful electrical connection to the rest of Michigan or Canada. The only energy we import comes from Wisconsin. We cannot depend on the changes made in the rest of Michigan. The Commission's report was clear. The UP needs a legislative fix to protect the RICE units. Without it, we would risk economic devastation. The Tilden mine, the second largest iron ore mine in America, drives 60% of the UP's energy demand. Energy costs make up a quarter of its operational budget. If we don't amend the 2023 law, Tilden faces a crushing $1.3 million surcharge in 2027, and it increases to a plateau of $15 million in 2040. That is per month, before they even receive an electron. Residential ratepayers will similarly have to pay a $90 surcharge. Small businesses like my old truck stop would be paying $3,500 a month extra, and my base rate every month was right around $3,000, so it would have doubled my previous business's costs on energy. And then large industrial would lay waste throughout the UP. They would be faced with $300,000 a month surcharges per month. Industry cannot survive that. Our residents can't survive that. We are fighting for our right to simply exist. If Tilden closes, the shockwaves will not just hit the UP. The ripple effects will be felt across all of Michigan, jeopardizing thousands of good-paying union jobs, including steel mills, auto plants in Southeast Michigan. We cannot let this happen. The bills before you do not label RICE units as clean or renewable. These bills give UP utilities who utilize the RICE units until 2050 to meet the standards we passed last session. The UP was ahead of the curve when it decommissioned the coal power plants in 2019. The RICE units that we replaced them with enable us to reduce carbon by over 70%. This isn't a free pass, it's a practical bridge to compliance. These bills simply give us a 10-year delay, not an exemption, to align with those standards fairly. This vote is about protecting hardworking families, preserving jobs, and ensuring the UP thrives as a contributing part of the state. I urge you to vote yes on House Bills 4007 and 4283. Let's stand together for the Upper Peninsula, for Michigan, and for our shared future. Thank you.
The question before the House is the passage of the bill. A record roll call vote is required. All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, nay. The clerk will open the board. Members, the board is still open. You may vote at your desks. The clerk will close the board. Representative Burns votes nay. Representative O'Neill votes aye. Representative Farhat votes aye. The clerk will tally, display, and announce the vote.
Madam Speaker, on the question of final passage of House Bill 4007, there are 82 aye votes and 27 nay votes.
A majority of the members elected and serving having voted in favor, therefore, the bill has passed. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumus.
I move for immediate effect.
The Majority Floor Leader moves for immediate effect. All those in favor will rise. Immediate effect is ordered. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumus.
Continuing on the order of third reading of bills, I move that the House take up calendar item number 5, House Bill 4283.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar number 5, House Bill 4283, introduced by Representative Preston. A bill to amend the Clean and Renewable Energy and Energy Waste Reduction Act. People's State of Michigan, enact.
The bill will be considered read for a third time by its title. Are there amendments? There are not. The question before the House is the passage of the bill. A record roll call vote is required. All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, nay. The clerk will open the board. Members, the board is still open. Please vote at your desk. The clerk will close the board. Representative Posthumus votes aye. Representative O'Neill votes aye. The clerk will tally, display, and announce the vote.
Madam Speaker, on the question of final passage of House Bill 4283, there are 83 aye votes and 26 nay votes.
A majority of the members elected and serving having voted in favor, therefore, the bill has passed. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumus.
Move for immediate effect.
The Majority Floor Leader moves for immediate effect. All those in favor will rise. Immediate effect is ordered. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumus.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Continuing on the order of third reading of bills, I move that the House take up calendar item number 6, House Bill 4178.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar number 6, House Bill 4178, introduced by Representative Aragona. A bill to amend the Insurance Code of 1956. People's State of Michigan, enact.
The bill will be considered read for a third time by its title. Are there amendments? There are not. The question before the House is the passage of the bill. A record roll call vote is required. All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, nay. The clerk will open the board. Members, the board is still open. Please vote at your desks. The clerk will close the board, tally display, and announce the vote.
Madam Speaker, on the question of final passage of House Bill 4178, there were 108 aye votes and 1 nay vote.
A majority of the members elected and serving having voted in favor, therefore, the bill has passed. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Postumus.
Move for immediate effect.
The Majority Floor Leader moves for immediate effect. All those in favor will rise. Immediate effect is ordered. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Postumus.
Continuing on the order of third reading of bills, I move that the House take up calendar item number 7, House Bill 4072.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar item number 7, House Bill 4072, introduced by Representative Steckloff, a bill to amend the Public Health Code. People of the State of Michigan enact.
The bill will be considered read for a third time by its title. Are there amendments? There are not. The Speaker recognizes Representative Steckloff.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today I rise in support of House Bill 4072, which will allow any unused portion of eye drops or ointment used in ophthalmic surgical center, procedure, or medical care to be offered to patients for post-discharge care. This bill was first brought to me by a constituent who is an ophthalmologist. During his residency in Illinois, where the practice is already law, he witnessed firsthand the benefits of allowing patients to take home their prescribed medications. And then upon moving to Michigan, finding out that this practice is now here. You see, currently when a patient requires treatment with these medications during their stay, any unused portions are discarded when they leave the facility. Consequently, patients must obtain new prescriptions, go to the pharmacy, and get the exact same thing they were already taking just to continue their treatment at home, often incurring additional costs, facing potential delays in receiving their medication. By not allowing patients to take their prescribed eye drops and ointments, we inadvertently increase the financial burden on our healthcare system and our constituents. So it's time for Michigan to evolve and meet the practical needs of our residents, and let's employ some common sense here and modify our regulations to permit patients to take home their eye drops and ointments. This bill passed this chamber a few months ago, 108 to 1, so hopefully we can get it through. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The question before the House is the passage of the bill. A record roll call vote is required. All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, nay. The clerk will open the board. clerk will close the board. Representative Aragona votes aye. The clerk will tally, display, and announce the vote.
Madam Speaker, on the question of final passage of House Bill 4072, there are 109 aye votes and 0 nay votes.
A majority of the members elected and serving having voted in favor, therefore, the bill has passed. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Pastumas.
Move for immediate effect.
The Majority Floor Leader moves for immediate effect. All those in favor will rise. Immediate effect is ordered. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Pastumas.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House proceed to the order of second reading of bills and take up calendar item number 20, House Bill 4071.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar item number 20, House Bill 4071, introduced by Representative Brenda Carter, a bill to amend the Insurance Code of 1956. People, State of Michigan, enact.
The bill will be considered read for a second time by its title. Are there amendments? There are. The clerk will read.
The Committee on Insurance, Representative Harris Chair, recommends the adoption of Substitute H2.
The question is on the adoption of the substitute. The clerk will open the board. Substitute is adopted. Are there further amendments? The Speaker recognizes Representative Carter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Esteemed colleagues, I rise today in heartfelt support.
My apologies. We're on second reading. We're going to keep moving forward until we get to third reading. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Pastumas.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House proceed to the order of third reading of bills and take up calendar item number 20, House Bill 4071, and place it on its immediate passage.
We didn't. There being no further amendments, the question before the House is advancing the bill to the order of third reading. Hearing no objection, the bill is on third reading. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Pastumas.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House proceed to the order of third reading of bills and take up calendar item number 20, House Bill 4071, and place it on its immediate passage.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar number 20, House Bill 4071, introduced by Representative Brenda Carter, a bill to amend the Insurance Code of 1956. People, State of Michigan, enact.
The bill will be considered read for a third time by its title. Are there amendments? There are no amendments. Speaker recognizes Representative Carter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Esteemed colleagues, I rise today in heartfelt support for House Bill 4071, a bill that, while technical in nature, holds profound personal significance. This legislation addresses the real cost of insurance, the lives ensnared in chasm between necessity and accessibility, and the families compelled to choose between paying premiums and putting food on the table. Let me share a story about my sister Tootie. She was vibrant, loving, and hardworking. Yet, Like many in low-income communities, she could only afford basic insurance. It wasn't a matter of choice. She couldn't afford comprehensive care. Tragically, Tootie succumbed to a preventable health condition, one that disproportionately affects those living in poverty. Had she had access to preventable care, wellness programs, or support systems to mitigate health risk, her story might have been different. Had House Bill 4071 provision been in place, insurers could have offered value-added services, wellness programs, fitness tools, chronic disease prevention, telehealth access, smart technology, and financial counseling. These tools not only reduce risk and lower premiums, but most importantly, Madam Speaker, it saves lives. Insurance fundamentally revolves around risk. When risk escalates, so does premiums. However, by equipping consumers with tools to mitigate that risk, by promoting healthier lifestyles, safer driving, and secure homes, we invest in prevention that conserves both lives and resources. Let Tootie's story compel us to act. Yes to smarter policy. Yes to affordability. Yes to a Michigan where insurance is inclusivity, that's a bad word, is a reality. I urge you to support House Bill 4071 for our communities, the families we represent, and every life that still has a chance to be protected. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The question before the House is the passage of the bill. A record roll call vote is required. All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, nay. The clerk will open the board. The clerk will close the board, tally, display, and announce the vote.
Madam Speaker, on the question of final passage of House Bill 4071, there are 108 aye votes and 1 nay vote.
A majority of the members elected and serving having voted in favor, therefore, the bill has passed. Speaker recognizes the majority floor leader posthumous.
Move for immediate effect.
The majority floor leader moves for immediate effect. All those in favor will rise. Immediate effect is ordered. For the purposes of the introduction, the Speaker recognizes Representative Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today I have some very special guests with me. They are Peter Malik, President of the Village of Junction City, Wisconsin, and Betty Malik, the City Clerk and the longest-serving County Clerk in Wisconsin at the moment. Peter and Betty are also my mother and father-in-law, sitting in the East Gallery with my husband, John.
Will the special guest of Representative Morgan please rise? Welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumous.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House proceed to the order of second reading of bills and take up calendar item number 23, House Bill 4222.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar item number 23, House Bill 4222, introduced by Representative Schmaltz, a bill to amend the revised school code, People's State of Michigan, enact.
The bill will be considered read for a second time by its title. Are there amendments? There are. The clerk will read.
The Committee on Education and Workforce, Representative Board Chair, recommends the adoption of substitute H2.
The question is on the adoption of the substitute. The clerk will open the board. The substitute is adopted. Are there further amendments? There being no further amendments, the question before the House is advancing the bill to the order of third reading. Hearing no objection, the bill is on third reading. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumous.
Continuing on the order of second reading of bills, I move that the House take up calendar item number 24, House Bill 4226.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar item number 24, House Bill 4226, introduced by Representative Linting, a bill to amend the Fire Prevention Code, People's State of Michigan, enact.
The bill will be considered read for a second time by its title. Are there amendments? There are. The clerk will read.
The Committee on Education and Workforce, Representative DeBoer Chair, recommends the adoption of substitute H1.
The question is on the adoption of the substitute. The clerk will open the board. The substitute is adopted. Are there further amendments? There being no further amendments, the question before the House is advancing the bill to the order of third reading. Hearing no objection, the bill is on third reading. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumous.
Continuing on the order of second reading of bills, I move that the House take up calendar item number 25, House Bill 4227.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar item number 25, House Bill 4227, introduced by Representative Fairbairn, a bill to amend the revised school code, People's State of Michigan, enact.
The bill will be considered read for a second time by its title. Are there amendments? There are. The clerk will read.
The Committee on Education and Workforce, Representative DeBoer Chair, recommends the adoption of substitute H2.
The question is on the adoption of the substitute. The clerk will open the board. The substitute is adopted. Are there further amendments? There being no further amendments, the question before the House is advancing the bill to the order of third reading. Hearing no objection, the bill is on third reading. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumous.
Continuing on the order of second reading of bills, I move that the House take up calendar item number 26, House Bill 4258.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar number 26, House Bill 4258, introduced by Representative Regas, a bill to amend the Student Safety Act, People's State of Michigan, enact.
The bill will be considered read for a second time by its title. Are there amendments? There are. The clerk will read.
The Committee on Education and Workforce, Representative DeBoer Chair, recommends the adoption of substitute H1.
The question is on the adoption of the substitute. The clerk will open the board. The substitute is adopted. Are there further amendments? There being no further amendments, the question before the House is advancing the bill to the order of third reading. Hearing no objection, the bill is on third reading. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumous.
Continuing on the order of second reading of bills, I move that the House take up calendar item number 27, House Bill 4259.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar item number 27, House Bill 4259, introduced by Representative Steckloff, a bill to amend the Student Safety Act, People's State of Michigan, enact.
The bill will be considered read for a second time by its title. Are there amendments? There are not. The question before the House is advancing the bill to the order of third reading. Hearing no objection, the bill is on third reading. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumous.
Continuing on the order of second reading of bills, I move that the House take up calendar item number 33, House Bill 4229.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar item number 33, House Bill 4229, introduced by Representative Neely, a bill to amend an act to create the Office of School Safety and prescribe its powers and duties. People's State of Michigan, enact.
The bill will be considered read for a second time by its title. Are there amendments? There are. The clerk will read.
The Committee on Education and Workforce, Representative DeBoer Chair, recommends the adoption of substitute H1.
The question is on the adoption of the substitute. The clerk will open the board. The substitute is adopted. Are there further amendments? There being no further amendments, the question before the House is advancing the bill to the order of third reading. Hearing no objection, the bill is on third reading. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumous.
Continuing on the order of second reading of bills, I move that the House take up calendar item number 32, House Bill 4225.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar number 32, House Bill 4225, introduced by Representative Steele, a bill to amend the Save Our Students Act, People's State of Michigan, enact.
The bill will be considered read for a second time by its title. Are there amendments? There being no amendments, the question before the House is advancing the bill to the order of third reading. Hearing no objection, the bill is on third reading. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumous.
Continuing on the order of second reading of bills, I move that the House take up calendar item number 42, House Bill 4223.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar number 42, House Bill 4223, introduced by Representative Harris. A bill to amend the revised school code. People, State of Michigan, enact.
The bill will be considered read for a second time by its title. Are there amendments? There are. The clerk will read.
The Committee on Education and Workforce, Representative DeBoer, Chair, recommends the adoption of Substitute H1.
The question is on the adoption of the substitute. The clerk will open the board. The substitute is adopted. Are there further amendments? There being no further amendments, the question before the House is advancing the bill to the order of third reading. Hearing no objection, the bill is on third reading. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumous.
Continuing on the order of second reading of bills, I move that the House take up calendar item number 43, House Bill 4315.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar number 43, House Bill 4315, introduced by Representative Pablo. A bill to amend the revised school code. People, State of Michigan, enact.
The bill will be considered read for a second time by its title. Are there amendments? There are. The clerk will read.
The Committee on Education and Workforce, Representative DeBoer, Chair, recommends the adoption of Substitute H2.
The question is on the adoption of the substitute. The clerk will open the board. The substitute is adopted. For the purpose of an introduction, the Speaker recognizes Representative Carter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, today I have some special guests. Had a meeting with them earlier, and they decided to stay. So I see them up in the South Gallery, some young people from Detroit Action.
Will the special guest of Representative Carter please rise? Welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. There being no further amendments, the question before the House is advancing the bill to the order of third reading. Hearing no objection, the bill is on third reading. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Pastumas.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House proceed to the order of motions and resolutions and take up House Resolution 9-2.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
House Resolution number 9-2, introduced by Representative Young, a resolution to declare May 2025 as Asthma and Allergy Awareness Month in the state of Michigan.
Speaker recognizes Representative Young.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's kind of loud. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today in support of my resolution that declares May 2025 as Asthma and Allergy Awareness Month in the state of Michigan. Asthma and allergies affect the lives of millions of Americans, children and adults alike, and their negative impact of both of them continues to grow. Across the nation, more than 25 million people live with asthma, including nearly 1 million right here in the state of Michigan. Sadly, according to the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America, my hometown of Detroit, our ranking worsened in 2024 from 2023, making us now the third worst nationally in their report. In one recent year, 17 people in Wayne County died of asthma. Nationally, in 2023, 3,190 people died of asthma, again, according to the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America. It is one of the most chronic conditions in children, disrupting education and their school attendance, limiting activity, and often requiring emergency care. I happen to be one of those moms, Madam Speaker. I experienced this with my firstborn, who happens to be my birthday buddy. When he was a baby, he would wake up with a cough and with a wheeze. And not having any experience with asthma, I did not know those were signs. And so I would do like many parents would do. I gave him cough medicine to try to ease his uncomfort. And then finally, when it didn't get better and he woke up night after night for a few days, we got him to the pediatrician, and what did we find? He had asthma. My son had asthma. We left there from the doctor's office with a nebulizer, with albuterol vials, and an inhaler to just help keep my baby alive. But even after the diagnosis, even after he got his medication, whenever I would hear him cough during the night, it would send chills down my spine because I would be concerned, is my child okay? It made me a very light sleeper, even to today. And then when you layer on the growing prevalence of food allergies, it only makes matters worse. Over 33 million suffer from food allergies, including more than 4 million children. And of course, my birthday buddy is one of them. He experienced extreme food allergies that caused him to have an EpiPen everywhere he went. The truth is, children with food allergies are significantly more likely to suffer from asthma and other allergic conditions, like my oldest son. It is especially important to note that Black, Hispanic, and indigenous communities bear a disproportionate burden of these diseases, reflecting broader health disparities that we must continue to address. So by designating May as Asthma and Allergy Awareness Month, we affirm our commitment to do these things. We affirm to raise awareness, public awareness. We affirm to support patients and families. We encourage early diagnosis and effective treatment, and promoting public health strategies that reduce environmental triggers. This resolution is more than symbolic. It's a call to action, supporting the well-being of Michigan residents living with these serious conditions. And so with that, Madam Speaker, I urge my colleagues to support this resolution. Thank you.
The question before the House is the adoption of House Resolution 9-2. All those in favor of the resolution will say aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumous.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House proceed to the order of motions and resolutions and suspend Rule 71 in order to take up House Resolution 93.
The Majority Floor Leader moves to suspend Rule 71. All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, nay. The Rule 71 is suspended. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumous.
Continuing on the order of motions and resolutions, I move that the House take up House Resolution 93.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
House Resolution number 93, introduced by Representative Maddock, a resolution to urge all public bodies in the state of Michigan to adopt the term Gulf of America in place of Gulf of Mexico in all official communications, publications, and references, and to call for immediate steps to implement this change by July 4th, 2025. And Madam Speaker, we have received amendments to the resolution.
And there are amendments. The clerk will read.
Representative Pies offers a floor substitute H1 identified as amendment number 1.
The question is on the adoption of the substitute. The clerk will open the board. The substitute is not adopted. Are there further amendments? There are. The clerk will read.
Representative Conlon offers a floor substitute H2 identified as amendment number 2.
The question is on the adoption of the substitute. The clerk will open the board. The substitute is not adopted. Are there further amendments? There are. The clerk will read.
Representative Conlon offers a floor substitute H4 identified as amendment number 3.
The question is on the adoption of the substitute. The clerk will open the board. The substitute is not adopted. Are there further amendments? There are. The clerk will read.
Representative Hope offers a floor substitute H6 identified as amendment number 4.
The question is on the adoption of the substitute. The clerk will open the board. The substitute is not adopted. Are there further amendments? There are. The clerk will read.
Representative Weiss offers a floor substitute H5 identified as amendment number 5.
Question is on the adoption of the substitute. The clerk will open the board. Substitute is not adopted. Are there further amendments? There are. The clerk will read.
Representative Andrews offers a floor substitute H3 identified as amendment number 6.
The question is on the adoption of the substitute. The clerk will open the board. The substitute is not adopted. Are there further amendments? There being no further amendments, Speaker recognizes Representative Maddock.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We have a great country filled with great citizens. Our nation won the race to the moon. We freed the slaves. We have been a shining light of liberty for the entire world. We have created the world's greatest economy through hard work, innovation, and grit. The left is at war with our history. Our highest mountain, the very peak of our nation, was renamed by the Democrats. They renamed Mount McKinley to just Denali, a name that means nothing to America. We are in the middle of a great struggle to determine whether we move forward with leaders like President or whether we let others pull us back into disarray. We either progress with bold leaders or we mire in stagnation. I love bold America. I want a forward-looking, forward-thinking American continent, and I want our lands to reflect a spirit of optimism, excitement, and courage. These are the choices before us today. Our nation went through dark times with COVID, even in this room, but now there's light. Let's do something bright for all of America. Let's do something for the families on vacation and for the kids who put their toes in the water. Look, Mom, I'm in the Gulf of America. Let's give America more to be proud of, and our great veterans deserve this too. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The question before the House is on the adoption of House Resolution 9-3. All those in favor of the resolution will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Postumus.
Continuing on the order of motions and resolutions, I move that the House take up House Resolution 94.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
House Resolution number 9-4, introduced by Representative Conlin, a resolution to declare May 2025 as Jewish American Heritage Month in the state of Michigan.
Speaker recognizes Representative Arbit.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today in support of my colleague from the 48th District's resolution. Declaring May as Jewish American Heritage Month is incredibly important. Something I always like to talk about is that the reason why Jewish American Heritage Month, or JAM as we know it, is really important, because it's really important to recognize that the story of the Jewish people in the United States is not just the story of our community's persistent fight to face down the persistent threat of anti-Semitism, both on the far left and the far right. It is the story of ingenuity, of progress, of contributions to technology, to philanthropy, to fashion and culture and music and comedy and cuisine, and the number of ways that the Jewish community has contributed to making the United States the great place that it is, and the state of Michigan the great place that it is. In downtown Detroit, we have the Levin Courthouse. We have an amazing history of Jews serving in public office in this state. We have an amazing philanthropic community, an amazing legacy here in the state of Michigan and across this nation of Jews really contributing, despite the fact that in our early days, in the early history of the United States, there were religious tests for public office and that we could not serve in public office. And now we have here today 2 Jewish members of this House and another Jewish member of the Senate proudly representing our communities and doing everything that we can, not only to fight anti-Semitism, which we clearly do, and welcome support across this House to do so, but also to recognize not just the absence of hate being enough recognition, but the recognition of everything that we have done to build this country and this state into the place that it is. And so I rise in today in support of this resolution and recommend a yes vote.
Speaker recognizes Representative Conlin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today in proud support of my resolution to recognize May as Jewish American Heritage Month here in the great state of Michigan. This month is an opportunity to honor and reflect on the remarkable and enduring contributions that the Jewish community has made to our state and our country. In Michigan, Jewish Americans have been a vibrant and essential part of our social, cultural, economic, and civic life for over 250 years. From the early days of Ezekiel Solomon at Fort Michilimackinac to the thriving communities we see today across Metro Detroit, Ann Arbor, and beyond. Jewish Michiganders have built businesses, strengthened neighborhoods, led philanthropic efforts, advanced civil rights, and contributed to nearly every sphere of American life, from Supreme Court chambers to the arts, from medicine to entrepreneurship. Prominent figures such as Supreme Court Louis Brandeis and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, U.S. Senator Carl Levin, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Michigan Attorney General Jana Nessel, U.S. Representative Senator Alyssa Slotkin, Judge Avern Cohn, Max Fisher, Hank Greenberg, and Gloria Steinem remind us not only of excellence, but of the deep commitment to justice, community, and innovation that characterizes Jewish life and values. On a personal note, I want to speak as someone who has been in a 36-year interfaith marriage. My spouse's Jewish heritage is part of the fabric of our family's identity. It's in the holidays we celebrate, the values we teach our children, and the broader understanding we bring to our community and our work. Being part of an interfaith family has deepened my appreciation for the Jewish culture, tradition, and the powerful role this community continues to play in making Michigan stronger and more inclusive. It's not just history we celebrate this month. It's a living legacy and a vibrant future. I am proud to support this resolution and to stand in solidarity with Michigan's Jewish community, and I urge my colleagues to do the same. Thank you.
The question before the House is the adoption of House Resolution 9-4. All those in favor of the resolution will say aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumus.
Continuing on the order of motions and resolutions, I move that the House take up House Resolution 9-5.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
House Resolution number 9-5, introduced by Representative Morgan, a resolution to express our commitment to strengthening and deepening ties between the state of Michigan and Taiwan.
Speaker recognizes Representative Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I rise today as the co-chair of the Taiwan Friendship Caucus to express our commitment to strengthening and deepening the ties between Michigan and Taiwan. I rise in support of H.R. 95. Taiwan and the state of Michigan have enjoyed a long relationship defined by a commitment to democracy, peace, and prosperity for our people. And with my colleague and fellow co-chair, Representative Green, we stand here to say that we want to do more than maintain that friendship. We want to strengthen it. Taiwan is one of the United States' key trade partners and Michigan's 10th largest export market in Asia last year, with over $250 million from Michigan businesses brought by the people of Taiwan. Our agricultural products benefit from this partnership, our businesses benefit, and our local economies benefit. And the Michigan-Taiwan office opened last year will continue to help us welcome new investments, new jobs, and new opportunities for our constituents. But this relationship is much deeper than numbers. It's about people. Our state has a vibrant Taiwanese American community that enriches our culture, our cuisine, and our neighborhoods. And it's about our shared belief that democracy is worth defending, that collaboration is the path to a more prosperous future, and that when we build bridges based on trust and respect, everyone moves forward together. Michigan stands ready to work with our friends in Taiwan to build on our progress we've made, to increase partnerships, to expand cultural exchange, to open the doors of opportunity for students, for families, and for future generations to come. Today, let's honor this friendship. Let's state unequivocally that the people of Michigan value and cherish this relationship. Let's send a message that we believe in a world based in partnership, on dignity, and hope for a better tomorrow, and based on democracy. I urge my colleagues to join in this support, and the resolution is on the session website for co-sponsorship. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The question before the House is on the adoption of House Resolution 9-5. All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumus.
Continuing on the order of motions and resolutions, I move that the House take up House Resolution 9-6.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
House Resolution number 9-6, introduced by Representative Song, a resolution to declare May 5th through the 11th, 2025, as Mother's Week in the state of Michigan.
Speaker recognizes Representative Song.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today I rise in support of Resolution 96, recognizing May 5th through the 14th as Mother's Week in the state of Michigan. Being a mom is one of the toughest jobs in the world. Naturally, we do everything we can to protect our children from harm. We make countless sacrifices to ensure that they have everything they need, even if it means putting our own needs aside. I want to thank all the moms and women who care for others for getting us through the hard times and for continuing to guide and nurture our families today. You are the heart of our community and the foundation of our future. Thank you for being there through both the joys and the challenges. In the hardest of times, it's that we lean on the strength of our mothers. I remember the struggles my own mom faced to give me and my siblings a better life. From her, I learned to never give up hope and to keep working towards a better future. This week and every day, let's continue to honor all moms for their service to our families and our communities. From one mom to another, happy Mother's Day. Thank you.
The question before the House is on the adoption of House Resolution 9-6. All those in favor of the resolution will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumus.
Continuing on the order of motions and resolutions, I move that the House take up House Resolution 9-7.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
House Resolution number 97, introduced by Representative Bruck, a resolution to honor Michigan's veterans.
Speaker recognizes Representative Bruck.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today for the Resolution 97, which is honoring veterans during the month of May. Oh, goodness. It's been a stressful day, but it's a stressful month for many veterans as well. And I just want to remind our folks here, my colleagues in our state, of the sacrifice that our fellow Americans have made over the years. Since the dawn of our nation, over 530,000 U.S. soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines have perished in combat. Even Marines, yes. But I really want to talk about my war today because it's very personal. Since 2001, we've been involved in a lot of combat. As a matter of fact, we've had over 1.9 million soldiers, U.S. personnel, serve in the War on Terror. And they've done over 3 million tours combined. Many of us, obviously you put those numbers together, there's a lot of us that have done multiple tours, serving with our brothers and sisters, serving with those that made it home, and sometimes we wonder, why am I here? I ask myself that question many times. Many days, especially during the month of May. And tomorrow I get to speak at a memorial down in White House, Ohio, for a friend of mine, a soldier of mine, Sergeant Gary Andy Eckert. 20 years ago tomorrow, which would have been Mother's Day, speaking of resolutions on Mother's Day, he perished in the town of Samara by an IED that hit him while he was convoying. Tomorrow I get to speak at his dedication of a bridge down in Ohio. So I really wanted to do this resolution tomorrow to recognize that 20th anniversary, because 7,000 other soldiers, fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, perished in the last 23 years, 24 years. 53,000 were wounded and came home. But I really want to recognize the 36,000 that came home and then, through the course of their damaged, either physical or psychological, my words aren't coming to me. But in their minds, they thought themselves not worthy to come home and took their own life. 36,000 in the last 24 years. These are soldiers that weren't Vietnam. These are War on Terror soldiers that killed themselves, took their own life because of what they endured. But tomorrow I get to speak for Andy. That's my wristband, has his name on there, has a date that he perished and left his wife and 2 children, 2 small children at the time, who are now grown-up children and are going to be at this bridge dedication tomorrow. So this month of May, I want to dedicate in honor of our veterans, those that did not come home, those that came home and are still suffering, and those that came home and decided to take their own life because of what they went through, because of their PTSD or their physical injuries that they could not sustain and endure the rest of their life. So that's what I want to honor. I appreciate the co-sponsors that have occurred already, and I appreciate the support from my colleagues. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The question before the House is on the adoption of House Resolution 97. All those in favor of the resolution will say aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Postumus.
Continuing on the order of motions and resolutions, I move that the House take up House Resolution 9A.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
House Resolution 9-8, introduced by Representative Breen, a resolution to declare May 2025 as Mental Health Awareness Month in the state of Michigan.
Speaker recognizes Representative Breen.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today in support of my resolution to declare May as Mental Health Awareness Month in Michigan. Too often, mental health struggles are invisible, they go unnoticed and undiagnosed. And we cannot tell just by looking at our neighbors or our friends, colleagues, or family members what they are going through just by looking at them. About 1 in 5 adults in this country experience some form of mental illness in any given year. Over 1.4 Michiganders are living with a mental health condition. To dedicate this month to educating our communities about mental illness and reducing the stigma that surrounds him is to let hundreds and thousands of struggling Michiganders know that we see them. Their struggle is not invisible and they deserve care. However, the reality is that the cost of mental and behavioral health care is too high. In fact, the National Alliance on Mental Health found that 1.4 Michiganders living with a mental health condition in 2021, 421,000 people did not receive care because of cost. Under my husband's health plan, my son's appointments were costing over $200 a visit. My little boy on an IEP who has struggled for years, and we struggled to get him the help he needs. Families should not have to choose between buying groceries and getting the health care they need. And yes, mental health care is health care. As state legislators, we must reaffirm our commitment to reaching out a helping hand to help every Michigander, regardless of their socioeconomic status, can access mental health services. This means bolstering programs like Medicaid and making targeted investments in the state budget to ensure secure, consistent, affordable, and readily available mental health care in every community. In a prior budget, we increased funding to expand certified community behavioral health clinics into counties where they did not currently exist. We supported MyCal funding, which supports 988 suicide and crisis lifelines. There are great strides for reforming behavioral health care across our state, but the work cannot end here. We honor mental health awareness this month by committing to solving the behavioral care staff shortage and making key investments to expand access for children and adults and seniors. I am certain I could make a pretty lame joke about mental health and wanting to work in Lansing, but I'm not nearly as funny as I think I am sometimes. And instead, I will say that if anybody does want to bring a therapy or comfort dog or any puppy in general to the floor to help members and staff cope with anxiety or depression, I would be the first to support that. With effective treatment, the hundreds and thousands of Michiganders living with mental health conditions can recover and lead full, productive lives. So I call on my colleagues, every business, school, healthcare organization, and citizen we serve in the state to take on the honorable responsibility of supporting mental health awareness this month. I ask for your support in this resolution and your commitment to taking the necessary steps to protect Michiganders' mental health by advocating for appropriate and accessible services for all. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The question before the House is on the adoption of House Resolution 9-8. All those in favor of the resolution will say aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Pastumas.
Continuing on the order of motions and resolutions, I move that the House take up House Resolution 9-9.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
House Resolution number 9-9, introduced by Representative Nyer, a resolution to support President Trump's policies that are enabling potash mining in Michigan.
The resolution is referred to the Committee on Agriculture. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Pastumas.
Continuing on the order of motions and resolutions, I move that the House take up House Resolution 7-7.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read. The House will go at ease at the call of the chair.
The House come to order and proceed to reports of standing committees.
The Committee on Natural Resources and Tourism, Representative Martin Chair, reported House Resolution 77 without amendment and with recommendation the resolution be adopted. The Committee on Natural Resources and Tourism, Representative Martin Chair, reported House Resolution 91 without amendment and with recommendation that the resolution be adopted. The Committee on Natural Resources and Tourism, Representative Martin Chair, reported House Bill number 4010 without amendment with recommendation the bill pass.
Bill be referred to the order of second reading of bills.
The Committee on Natural Resources and Tourism, Representative Martin Chair, reported House Bill 4350 without amendment with recommendation the bill pass.
Bill be referred to the order of second reading of bills. The House will stand at ease.
The House will come to order. Speaker recognizes majority floor leader posthumous.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House proceed to the order of motions and resolutions and take up House Resolution 77.
Without objection, so order, the clerk will read.
House Resolution number 77, introduced by Representative Van Workum, a resolution urging Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker to resume construction of the Brandon Road Interbasin project to prevent the spread of Asian carp into the Great Lakes.
Speaker recognizes Representative Van Workum.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today I rise in support of House Resolution 77. We have all seen the videos, and we've all kind of laughed at the videos as we see the Asian carp jumping out of a river, hitting people in the head, landing on their laps. It's funny, but it's not so funny anymore. It's actually a serious threat that is facing the Great Lakes and Lake Michigan. This is a threat to our $7 billion fishing and tourism industry and the 75,000 jobs that go along with it. Asian carp decimate habitat, and they are knocking at the electric barrier as we speak, eager to come into our habitat. Back in 2010, I was working for Congressman Pete Hoekstra at the time, and I introduced the Asian Carp Action Plan. We were sick of the talk. All we'd hear was talk, 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 and there was zero action happening on this issue. And it was an all-the-above strategy, doing the electric barriers, doing acoustic barriers, doing bubble barriers, improving the locks. And specifically in there was the authorization of the Secretary to take action at Brandon Road Lock and Dam. Why? Because that's a pinch point. That is a pinch point to stop the spread of Asian carp. Then 2018, this legislature stepped up and authorized $8 million to work with the state of Illinois on building this new lock and dam. And eventually we've spent $73 million on this. It's money that could be spent in our districts, but money well spent because we know the threat that Asian carp will pose to our Great Lakes. Then in 2020, the state did an agreement with the state of Illinois that we would go and do this project. And then last month, President Trump publicly said that this is a priority of his administration. And as Michiganders, we are thankful for that promise. The issue before us is that Governor Pritzker of Illinois has halted the Brandon Road Interbasin project. Stopping the Asian carp must be a priority, not political posturing. Delay is unnecessary. It is time for action and honor the commitment. I urge Governor Pritzker to move forward, and I urge this body to support this resolution. Thank you.
The question before the House is on the adoption of House Resolution 77. All those in favor of the resolution will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Speaker recognizes Representative Snyder.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Pursuant to House Rule 41, subsection 3, a notice of one session day shall be given of a motion to discharge any such committee in writing. I now give notice of my request and move to discharge House Bill 4249 from the House Appropriations Committee and request to be recognized again in a separate motion immediately after the discharge.
Representative Snyder moves the Committee on Appropriations to be discharged for further consideration of House Bill 4249. All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, nay. The vote is not discharged. The House will go at ease at the call of the chair.
For the purposes of an introduction, the chair recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumus.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I would just like to draw everybody's attention to Clerk Emeritus Randall has joined us on the floor today.
We welcome back Clerk Emeritus Gary Randall to the House of Representatives. The House will come to order and proceed to announcements by the clerk of printing and enrollment.
The clerk announced the following bills when reproduced and made available electronically on Tuesday, May 6th. House Bills 4424 through 4464. Clerk announced the following bills when reproduced and made available electronically on Wednesday, May 7th. Senate Bills 285 through 291. Clerk announced the following Senate bill received on Wednesday, May 7th. Senate Bill 160.
Messages from the Senate.
To the Speaker of the House of Representatives, to restore, I herewith transmit Senate Bill 160, a bill to enact the Uniform Paramarital and Marital Agreements Act. People of the State of Michigan, enact.
Bill be considered read a first time by its title, referred to the Committee on Judiciary. Notices.
The House Oversight Subcommittee on State and Local Public Assistance Programs, scheduled for Thursday, May 8th at 9 a.m., has been canceled. A revised agenda has been issued for the House Committee on Agriculture, scheduled for Thursday, May 8th at 10:30 a.m. in room 308 of the House Office Building. House Appropriations Subcommittee on Agriculture, Rural Development, and Natural Resources will meet Wednesday, May the 14th at 10:30 a.m. in room 352 of the Capitol.
Introduction of bills.
Representative Farhat offers House Bill 4465, a bill to amend the Code of Criminal Procedure. People of the State of Michigan, enact.
Bill be considered read first time by its title, referred to the Committee on Judiciary.
Representative Jamie Green offers House Bill 4466, a bill to amend the Public Health Code. People of the State of Michigan, enact.
Bill be considered read a first time by its title, referred to the Committee on Health Policy.
Representative Paquette offers House Bill 4467, a bill to prohibit chemical and surgical mutilation of minors. People of the State of Michigan, enact.
Bill be considered read a first time by its title, referred to the Committee on Health Policy.
Representative Coons offers House Bill 4468, a bill to amend the Insurance Code of 1968. People of the State of Michigan, enact.
Bill be considered read a first time by its title, referred to the Committee on Health Policy.
Representative Linting offers House Bill 4469, a bill to amend the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act. People of the State of Michigan, enact.
Bill be considered read a first time by its title, referred to the Committee on Government Operations.
Representative Preston offers House Bill 4470, a bill to amend the Michigan Penal Code. People of the State of Michigan, enact.
Bill be considered read a first time by its title, referred to the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure.
Representative Harris offers House Bill 4471, a bill to amend an act to redefine the powers and duties of the county boards of commissioners of the several counties. People of the State of Michigan, enact.
Bill be considered read a first time by its title, referred to the Committee on Government Operations. Announcements by the clerk.
Received from the Michigan Trust Fund, Michigan Fund, to 2025 to 26 state plan.
The House will stand at ease.
Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumus.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House proceed to the order of second reading of bills and take up calendar item number 28, House Bill 4328.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar number 28, House Bill 4328, introduced by Representative Fairbairn, a bill to make, supplement, adjust, and consolidate appropriations for various state departments and agencies, the judicial branch, and the legislative branch for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2025. People of the State of Michigan, enact.
The bill will be considered read for a second time by its title. Are there amendments? There are. The clerk will read.
Representative Snyder offers a series of amendments identified as Amendment Number 1.
Speaker recognizes Representative Schneider.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I rise in support of my amendment to appropriate $6 million to make whole EMS service providers who are owed due to services contracted through WellPath. EMS agencies across the state were not paid for emergency responses to Michigan prisons over the last several years by WellPath, MDOC's former healthcare provider, for their life-saving work. WellPath has since declared bankruptcy, leaving EMS agencies on the hook for nearly $6 million. These deficits have left gaping holes in the operational funds of EMS agencies around the state. Without repayment of these bills, EMS agencies are being forced to shrink services to their local communities and risk going out of business. In the Eastern Upper Peninsula, Kinross EMS alone is owed nearly $500,000 and only has 10 days of operating funds in the bank, leaving no buffer for any potential issues. The agency has already reduced from 4 crews to 3 and will have to reduce or eliminate services soon if repayment doesn't occur. As EMS agencies are required by law to respond and transport patients regardless of their ability to pay for their insurer, it is the state's responsibility to repay these bills. I urge support for my amendment.
The question is on the adoption of the amendment. The clerk will open the board. The amendment is not adopted. Are there further amendments? There are. The clerk will read.
Representative Rogers offers a series of 2 amendments identified as Amendment Number 2.
The question is on the adoption of the amendment. The clerk will open the board. The amendment is not adopted. Are there further amendments? There are. The clerk will read.
Representative Menser offers a series of 3 amendments identified as Amendment Number 3.
Speaker recognizes Representative Menser.
Thank you, Chair. Today I rise in support of my amendment to House Bill 4328, which would replace the $56 million of federal disaster recovery funds that have been held up by the federal government. This funding is vital to supporting disaster relief and aid, emergency response programs, and recovery efforts for communities across Michigan. Delays in this funding could cause significant strain on Michigan's emergency response services, local governments, and nonprofit organizations. It could also lead to delays in response times and disruptions to disaster recovery efforts. When natural disasters strike, it is both federal and state lawmakers to make sure that communities can recover. But we cannot wait around for the federal aid we should be receiving. Michigan families need us to act now and fund our heroic emergency response teams. Providing these essential services gets our communities back on their feet and ready to move on. Without these vital investments, communities are left in the dust, unable to move on, and stuck in the rubble that remains. I urge my colleagues to support this amendment to give Michiganders the security of knowing our response teams are funded and ready to jump into action. Thank you.
The question is on the adoption of the amendment. The clerk will open the board. The amendment is not adopted. Are there further amendments? There are. The clerk will read.
Representative Fairbairn offers a floor substitute H1 identified as Amendment Number 4.
The question is on the adoption of the substitute. The clerk will open the board. The substitute is adopted. Are there further amendments? There being no further amendments, the question before the House is advancing the bill to the order of third reading. Hearing no objection, the bill is on third reading. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumus.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House proceed to the order of third reading of bills and take up calendar item number 28, House Bill 4328.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar item number 28, House Bill 4328, introduced by Representative Fairbairn. A bill to make, supplement, adjust, and consolidate appropriations for various state departments and agencies, the judicial branch, and the legislative branch for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2025. People of the State of Michigan, enact.
The bill will be considered read for a third time by its title. Are there amendments? There are no amendments. The Speaker recognizes Representative Fairbairn.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to speak in support of House Bill 4328, which will make an appropriation from the State General Fund to work in tandem with any future federal disaster relief funds to support the recovery of northern Michigan following the devastating historic ice storm that destroyed property, facilities, and infrastructure throughout 12 northern counties just more than a month ago. Though, in today's 24-hour global news cycle, a month can seem an eternity, I assure you that no one in northern Michigan has forgotten about this storm and moved on. This was a once-in-a-generation weather event. It coated trees, power lines, radio, and cell towers, roads, rooftops, cars, and homes in ice of a thickness and weight that snapped limbs, power poles, 600-foot broadcast antennas, electrical masts, and structural supports in every county, township, city, and village across northern Michigan, not to mention more trees than can possibly be counted. Our northern Michigan communities are doing everything they can to clear hurricane-type debris from driveways, yards, roads, trails, right-of-ways, parks, rivers, streams, parking lots, and business properties after having suffered weeks when many of them had no electricity, internet, or cell service, and had great difficulty in even finding operational fueling stations that had gasoline to power vehicles and generators if they were fortunate enough to have them. Now, with personal and municipal finances stretched thin from efforts to help their families, neighbors, residents, and communities survive the first 2 weeks and pouring nearly everything they had into trying to return the region to some level of functional normalcy, they are facing the reality that they don't have the resources necessary to do this on their own any longer. The people of northern Michigan and the Upper Peninsula continue to ask the questions, will anybody help us? Does anyone have our backs in our time of great need? A vote in support of this plan tells the people of northern Michigan and the Upper Peninsula that yes, we hear you loud and clear and we do have your back. House Bill 4328 will provide funds to aid 12 Michigan counties and their residents, businesses, and local units of government to clear, remove, and dispose of debris and continue working to return the place we all like to call up north to a place where they can live, work, send their children to school, and welcome all of you to enjoy the lakes, streams, forests, trails, ski hills, cabins, and lodges. On behalf of my constituents and those of my Northern Caucus colleagues, I ask that the members of this chamber support this bill to provide a hand up to your fellow Michiganders who find themselves in a desperate situation and from which you will have the ability to help them right now with a yes vote.
The question before the House is the passage of the bill. A record roll call vote is required. All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, nay. The clerk will open the board. Speaker recognizes Minority Floor Leader Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to excuse Representative Arbit.
Without objection, so ordered. Members, the board is still open. You may vote at your desks. The clerk will close the board, tally, display, and announce the vote.
Madam Speaker, the question of final passage of House Bill 4328, there are 107 aye votes and 1 nay vote.
A majority of the members elected and serving having voted in favor, therefore, the bill has passed. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumus.
I move for immediate effect.
The Majority Floor Leader moves for immediate effect. All those in favor will rise. Immediate effect is ordered. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumus.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House proceed to the order of motions and resolutions.
Without objection, so ordered. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Posthumus.
Just to let the members know, there will be no further voting today, and when the House adjourns, it stands adjourned until Thursday, May 8th, 2025 at 12 p.m. noon.
The House will stand at ease at the call of the chair.
The House will come to order and proceed to notices.
A revised agenda has been released for the House Committee on Agriculture, scheduled for Thursday, May 8th at 10:30 a.m., room 308 of the House Office Building.
Messages from the governor.
Received from Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Executive Order number 2025-6, naming the Deborah A. Stabenow Building.
There being no further business to come before the House, Representative Price moves that the House do now adjourn. Hearing no objection, the House will stand adjourned until Thursday, May 8th, 2025 at 12 o'clock noon.